Welcome everyone. Welcome. Hello. Hi, Dion. Good evening to you. All right. What a lovely evening that we have here. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. Okay, so as usual, we'll just wait for a little while here, and I'll have the people get the notifications that I'm live. All right, let's go ahead and start. Today was very interesting. We got a really big move to the upside, nice bounce, and after hours we really dumped. And because of Amazon and Apple earnings, the market is looking to actually gap down and kind of erase all the gains that we've made today. But you guys take a look at futures here, right? Both SPY and QQQ futures, right? So if you look at Nasdaq futures, they both actually opened up with a little tiny gap. Well, it's a gap down, but they're actually starting to bounce a little bit. So depending on how European markets open, you either get a big flush downward because, well, we're still in the downtrend, right? I mean, this is very obvious. We're still in the downtrend, but there's a possibility that we have a nice double bottom here on futures, on both SPY and Nasdaq futures here. So with SPY here, okay, SPY futures, the SPY futures here look a lot better, obviously. The Nasdaq futures, I mean, they opened up a lot closer to the closing price of today. So depending on, like I said, depending on how European markets open, we either flush downward again, or we have a nice flat open tomorrow morning as pre-market. Well, if pre-market shows, you know, zero up and down movement, which is unlikely, but you know, ideally speaking, we can have a nice movement to the upside if we do break the same resistance levels again that were apparent today. Okay, so BABA. Okay, let's take a look at BABA. Yeah, so BABA yesterday, I told you guys to take a look at BABA because of how strong it was, and guess what? It continued to the upside as it broke the high of today, right? Of yesterday, excuse me. And on the 15-minute time frame here, okay, so we have today, right, the 28th, and then yesterday was the 27th. Okay, so as it broke this significant level here, 89.40-ish, okay, 89.40, we decided to break above that and continue up higher. Okay, and as we did that, okay, we actually broke above the 10 SMA as well. Okay, so this is showing really good strength. The RSI is popping back up and climbing back up, and the MACD, right, the momentum indicator, is showing momentum coming back to the buyers as the selling momentum decreases here. Okay, so sellers could be capitulating here at some point. They probably are right now, especially all the shorters who are in here. All right, and also the fact that we have held the $85 support just gives us even more confidence that we can head back towards the major level of resistance around $100. Okay. Okay, so let's take a little tiny break here and have my Instagram live people to join the YouTube live here, because I forgot to tell my Instagram people and followers that I'm live on YouTube. Okay, so we also have YY, all right? And YY is another Chinese name that I went over last night, and YY here looks very promising too, because it actually began to peak out above this resistance level here, which is around $39, right? So 39 will be the definitive whole number area to look out for if you want to break to the upside, okay? And the fact that we had this attempt to even peak out of this resistance is showing me good confidence that we can go up higher. So for YY here, I expect us to see at least a retest of 42.20ish here, which is my green line here. You know, I think there's some a good chance that we can see resistance retest here at 42.20. Hey Hassan, what's up? 90 prayers done. Awesome. Full blade now. Time for some charts. There we go. I just went over Baba as well, Hassan, since you I think you just came in. But I went over this live yesterday, and the fact that I want to see a continuation back towards 91.50, and looks like we decide to move up higher and past 89.40-ish, which is the high of yesterday, and we continue to go up higher and close near the high of the day today too. So there's a good chance we can see resistance at 91.50-ish and kind of reject downward, or have another third green consecutive day, which is usually a nice pattern to see candlestick wise. So for Baba, there's some strength going in. Like I said, if you take a look at the RSI, right, good pop in RSI, momentum on the MACD, right, the momentum for selling is going down, and we're starting to see a potential flip from sellers to buyers with the momentum here as well. So Baba, Chinese names have been showing really good strength, and today they've just shown even more strength thanks to the overall market bounce. Okay, and then YY, the same thing, right? Same thing, same situation here. We just need to see a nice break above 39. Okay, and then I also want to go over Asana. Okay, Asana, this is the one that I posted on my Instagram. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and take a look at the post. But for Asana here, we're looking at the same pattern that we did earlier this year. And I know the CFA Swing Watch members really profited well here on the swing. So nice falling wedge, okay, and then huge big breakout, 30-point plus move here, right? This is a really big breakout. I mean, it's something it's one of those picture perfect swings that you want to see, especially out of a nice breakout, out of a bullish chart pattern, right? So in order for us to really see the benefits of a nice swing trade, right, we need to see a nice bullish chart pattern, especially if we want to see a nice long-term swing trade to the upside, right? We want to see a combination of a great looking chart pattern, and we want to see a nice breakout out of that bullish chart pattern, right? So we want to see increase in volume, increase in buying momentum, okay, and obviously good price action, right, where we see big, nice, full candlesticks, right, where we just don't have big weaky candlesticks where we're rejecting constantly at resistances, and instead of rejecting at resistances, we're blowing past it. Okay, so in order for us to really see a nice breakout out of ASAN or Asana, there has to be a nice definitive break above 31.20 or around 31.50. Okay, but if you want a riskier entry, I would say around 29.50 or even 29.10. That's even riskier, but 29.50 will be the riskiest entry here for me personally. 29.10 is a little bit too much, and it's not anywhere near our most closest resistance here, which is around 29.50. Okay, so for Asana, we're seeing a nice bounce near areas of support. If you take a look at the weekly time frame, right, this has been battered and battered and battered. Okay, it's been pummeled with like every other growth stock, which is not new here. But with this amount of a downward pressure here, right, at some point this stock will have to reverse as well. And obviously I'm not going to look for a reversal that we saw, well, a breakout like this, okay, where we saw in 2021 here, well, mostly all of 2021. Okay, I'm just looking for a nice reversal, just like we saw back in February, where it moved at least 30 plus points. And what's interesting about this trade back in February was that there's a lot of insider buying coming in. I believe the CEO and other board of directors bought a lot of shares, like a lot of shares. I think it was in the multi-millions, I think, or yeah, multi-millions, I believe. But with that insider buying, they really support the price up higher. Now, of course, I haven't seen if they sold their shares that they bought up here, okay, in the 50s and the 40s. But at this point, I don't really care what they do, okay? The fact that they even bought millions and millions and millions of shares just tells me that they have a bullish outlook for their own company. I mean, it would make sense, right? What kind of investor would be wanting to buy shares of a company when the CEO or the board of directors are selling their own company shares, right? So, it's simple logic there, right? I mean, you can put 2 to 2 together. If the board of directors and the CEO, etc., are all, selling their shares for the company, they don't see that usually means they don't see a nice growth future for the company, and they're trying to protect their own gains, right, or their own profits, and they're trying to use their money for the company, right? They want to put their own money back into the company and start using it instead of buying shares of their own company, right? So. With the Sana here, I'm not going to look into whether or not they sold or not. I don't really care for now. I just know that the fact that they've bought shares in the last 2 months is already a good sign. I like the company and I like what it does as well. It's a very, very essential kind of company that you would need for a very connected digital world that we have, especially with these new tech companies. And for Asana, I think they're positioned well to be a very profitable company. I don't think they're profitable yet. I think they're breaking even, I believe so. I don't remember my fundamental analysis from 2 months ago, but I will have to touch up on that again. But if you guys want to read the fundamental analysis I've done on this stock, make sure you guys join the CFO Swing Watch, because the newsletters are posted in the Discord. So you guys can scroll right back up to February where I posted this name. So if you guys want the fundamental analysis, it's all given in the CFO Swing Watch newsletter. But Asana, I truly believe this has potential for a long-term investment here, or a position trade. So Hassan, yes, trading psychology question. I have noticed myself not taking profits and getting greedy for a bigger move. I think I am not used to the idea of scalping or a quick move for nice profits. Okay, so Hassan, based off of what you just said, okay, on a surface level, what the immediate thought that I had was that you're not a scalper or day trader. Okay, because that means you're most likely a person who's waiting for more patience. So don't. Here's the number one thing that I think a lot of people tend to I think they tend to replace the word patience with greed. Okay, because they're kind of I would say not really misinforming themselves, but they're putting themselves as a day trader when they're really not, right? And most day traders are usually, they know their type of greed, they know their own personality, right? They know when to take profits, right? Especially if you have a plan, right, Hassan? If you have a game plan, your entry, profit, not entry and profit, entry, exit, and stop loss. Okay, if you have all 3 things, and you use all 3 things together in conjunction, right, you have a game plan and you're prepared. Now, obviously in day trade, you might not always have an immediate game plan, immediate stop loss, immediate exit, right? But you'll always have an entry. And if you always feel like you're having greed, waiting for a bigger move, okay, you may just be thinking, okay, that you're looking, especially if you're scalping, right? If you're day trading, scalping, and you have a constant thought that you are waiting for that bigger move, right? I think you're kind of misplacing greed as patience. Okay, because if you're misplacing greed as patience, then most likely you are a swing trader. Okay, you're most likely an investor or a swing trader, and that's completely fine, right? If you're the type of guy to want to hold on to something to actually realize actually have to have bigger gains, right? You want to see the stock price actually going to its fair value and etc., right? Depending on its fundamentals and its technicals, right? You might just be a swing trader. So as a swing trader, okay, now as a swing trader, son, the pinnacle moment where you realize, okay, where you can get your most profits in swing trading is through really, really A+ technical chart patterns. Okay, so let me say that again. the most amount of profits that you can ever get from a name is through the technical charts. Okay, and it's very simple because whenever I mean, just let me give you an example, right? Look at Apple, right? Apple. Oh, actually, I have the chart right here. So Apple has been constantly going up and up and up and up and up, right? And this is a chart that investors love because, well, it's a top right chart, right? And whenever prices tend to go up higher, they tend to go up even higher. And charts that go lower tend to go lower, right? They're at the bottom left, bottom right, right? They keep on going down and down and down, okay? While charts like this, they keep on going up and up and up and up, right? So Hassan, you said, I personally feel I am good at identifying intraday patterns and combining with the tape and other indicators. The move is usually pretty spot on. Not always, but majority of the time. Okay, that's good. But remember, whenever you have... So this is to everyone here. Every single person who's watching right now. Okay? You may have all your technical indicators, right? Like with my RSI that I sometimes use here and there. You can be using the tape, right? And people say tape is not an indicator, but I still kind of consider the tape as an indicator as well, because, well, it is reading the price, right? You're reading the price, but you're also kind of basing entries and exits off of orders, right? So it's something that I don't tend to. I mean, I've used tape once or twice. I didn't really like it. There really was no point in me using tape, especially as a swing trader, since I just had to look at the price just, either breaking my levels or not. I don't even need to see the tape here and there, but, after you've entered into a trade, right, you start to realize that most of the profits or losses comes from the mental game that you start playing after you get into a trade. Does everyone understand that? Or has everyone experienced that? Right? After you have entered into a trade, you experience a mental game. Right? Where you tell yourself and ask yourself, right? Should I sell now? Should I get out with small loss? Should I get out for a break even? Should I get out for a small profit? Right? And you continue to ask yourself these questions because you're watching live as your profits going up and down or your losses go up and down. Right? And that's completely fine, right? But here's the thing. With this mentality, this mental game that you're playing with yourself, right? You start to realize that it's kind of useless to have, right? Because if you have a game plan, right? If you have a game plan, sure, you have a game plan, but if you're one of those type of people who can't follow through with the game plan, right? So let's say you're the most impatient person in the world, right? Okay. Just started reading Trading in the Zone. Hopefully it will help with the mental game. Yeah, I saw in your story. Yeah. So that's a good book. But let's say you're the most impatient person in the world, and you have a game plan, but you just can't stick to your game plan because, well, the price is constantly changing, right? But ask yourself this. If you made a game plan, which entry, stop loss, and exit, what's the point of even making a game plan? Right? If you're so impatient, why don't you just shoot the breeze and just get in and get out at random times, right? And lose most of the times, obviously, if you do that. Right? So that's what I'm saying. There really is no point in trying to think if you have to get out here or there, right? Because if you set your mind on the game plan and you try to follow through with the exact game plan that you've made the previous night or on the spot while you're seeing the price go up and down, okay, there's no need to be afraid of going out anywhere, right? Because you're trying to see the price actually hit your arbitrary price levels. It's your price levels that you set for yourself. And if you're not even confident in that, right, that means either your game planning process is a little off, or you're just a really, really impatient person, right? And you're not ready to trade with the game plan yet. And you're far better off just shooting the breeze, getting to an entry, and trying to get out green. That's it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Right? And so this constant mental game that you have with yourself, right? At some point, you're gonna get so tired because you're repeating the same thing in your head, right? Oh, should I get out now? Should I stay a little bit more? Should I be a little bit greedy, right? Or should I get out right now because I'm so nervous and anxious? At the end, you become so tired of those thoughts that it's pointless. It's pointless to have those things in your head. Really, it is. I have no idea how to tell you this, but even if you're gonna continue to feel that way, right? You don't have to, bottle those feelings in your head and continue to feel them forever, right? Just let go of those feelings and think about the actual game plan that you have in mind, right? And follow through with that price, those 3 prices that you have: your entry, your exit, and your stop loss. If it hits your stop loss, get out. If it hits your exit, get out. If it hits your entry, then you're filled in. Right? I mean, it sounds easier said than done. Of course. You know why it sounds easier said than done? Because you have that constant mental game in your head after you enter into a trade that you keep on asking yourself, do I get in? Do I get out? Do I get in? Do I get out? Right? And that's that mental block. That mental game that you put yourself through is a mental block. Yeah, so exactly. All my trading journal says not sticking to my exactly, right? Literally, guys, if you have a game plan, go with your game plan. And here's a little tiny thing, right? If you guys aren't writing your game plan down with actual numbers, right? So let's say here, simple as this right now. Let me look for YY. Okay, so let's look at YY, right? Okay, here's a game plan. All right. Like I said on YY, right? I want my the price to go up above 39, and if you go above 39, there's a good chance that we can continue to the upside. Okay, so what is my immediate game plan from right now? Right now, just quick thinking. Entry 39.10. Okay, once the price crosses above 39.10, I'm getting in. Okay, so that's my entry, and then my stop loss is gonna be about $1. Okay, but I'm gonna put it a little bit below $1. I'm gonna put it around, let's say, 38.80. Okay, 38.80 will be my stop loss. So if we go below 38.80, okay, that is my stop loss, right? And it also aligns perfectly with this descending level of resistance. If you decide to violate and go below, sorry, not 38, 37.80. Excuse me. So 37.80, all right? I was looking at the price here and I was thinking of 38. So entry, right, 39.10. And my stop loss will be a little bit below $1, so around 37.80, okay? And if you guys take a look at the chart, right, that's a little bit below this descending level of resistance. So depending on how tomorrow goes, right, if we decide to break above 39.10, right, we can potentially see, right, a stop loss around 37.80. That's reasonable, okay? So about a $1 stop loss, and you're giving yourself a little bit more room by making a little bit more than $1, right? So you don't get faked out on a stop. Does that make sense? And then with your exit, right, you either have an option of keeping the 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio, which is the conventional risk to reward ratio. But in this case, right, our next immediate level of resistance is where? 42.20-ish. Okay, so son, yes. So entry 39.10, next resistance is 42.24. You're correct. So we have a very, very big level of resistance around 42.20. Now, you might be wondering, hey Andrew, what about all this resistance right here? Right? What do you do about here? Right? So that's the thing. Okay? I don't need to worry about this. Why? Can someone tell me why I don't need to worry about this? Right? So if you go up, right? If you go up a little bit around, let's say we hit 40, right? After my entry at 39.10, and then we reject all the way down. We reject at 40, and we come all the way back down to 39, and then we keep on going lower and lower and lower. Am I worried? No. What do I have below my entry? My stop loss. Right? My stop loss is right there. So you still have your game plan, right? All you need to do is follow your game plan. And Hassan, right? Like you said, the next resistance is 42.24ish, right? So take profits there. And guess what? That's literally perfect to a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, right? And that's good. That's really good. 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio is really awesome. It's not the usual and probably one of the best ratios to use, 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio, but 1 to 3 is pretty good, right? So with that in mind, right, I just made a quick game plan here, right, overnight here, and all I have to do is respect it. Yeah, it's making sense, right? Because yes, in your head, yeah, you know what? Let's face it, right? No one's ever going to erase their emotions. No one's going to act like a robot, right? All this BS that other people tell you, right? Hey, act like a robot. Think like a robot, okay? Think about, trying to be, just clicking away, right? Don't think about your own personal emotions or own personal bias. That's BS. I'm straight up calling that out, right? That's BS. You know why? Because we're human. Guess what? Ding, 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 we're human. Right? We're not robots. We're human. And whose money do we have in line at risk? Our money, your money. Money and emotions will always be attached no matter what you're buying or selling. And especially in trading, your emotions are tied in with money. So don't try to waste your energy by listening to someone that says, trade like a robot, try to cancel all your emotions out, okay? And just focus on price. Yeah, focus on price, but erase all your emotions? That's never gonna happen. Why? Because we're human. Okay, and emotions are playing an even bigger factor in our generation, right? With our highly connected world. So there's no way that you can even take out emotion at all in trading, because remember, your emotions are tied up with money. Okay, so I want you guys to think about and basically throw out the thought of you trying to trade like a robot. Okay, you're not ever going to trade like a robot unless you're an actual robot. Okay, and you have like this algorithm running inside your head. Okay, that's never going to happen. Okay. Before I move on, Dion, you said, would this be the same if we were playing options, like holding the contract onto the same stop loss? Yeah, I tend to follow that rule, or sometimes I like to, for example, so that's a great question, Dion. So if the contract hasn't, let's say tomorrow, we get into contracts at 39.10, okay, and when the price decides to come back down below and hits that stop loss area of around 37.80, right? Let's say it hits the 37.80, and then you realize your option contracts hasn't lost much, right? And obviously that's subjective. Okay, I'm not saying that losing hundreds and hundreds is going to be small for me, right? Or for you, right? It's subjective, right? But for the sake of this example, okay, if it hits the 37.80 stop loss, right, and your contracts haven't moved a lot, right, and you haven't lost at all, right? Let's just say you lost $10, $20, right? Okay, that's when you can actually be a little bit lenient with your option contracts, right? And you can tell yourself, okay, well, since my option contracts haven't moved too much since my entry, and remember, that's over $1 move to the downside, and if your contracts haven't moved that much, you can tell yourself, okay, well, maybe I can give myself some room here, right? And allow the price to kind of move around and find itself out and figure itself out and see whether or not it's going to bounce again at these intraday support levels, okay? And that's the only time that you can actually kind of be a little bit malleable with your game plan, especially when you're trading options, okay? When you're trading equity though, you should always stick to your game plan. Equity is different because you're actually playing with the price of the share, right? The underlying share price here, right? So here's the thing, Dion. If you want an actual structured option stop loss, okay, I usually go with 10 to 15% for a loss. Okay, you can go smaller than that, right? But I found that 5% is a little bit too small, and usually I get faked out a lot of the times when I'm using a 5% stop loss on an option play. Does that make sense? Which is why I look at the 10 to 15 range. Okay, 10 minimum, 15 max. Okay, and obviously if it's a longer term play and there's a bigger move that I'm looking for, I can also be malleable with that stop loss and look for a 20% maximum. Okay, after 20%, it gets a little bit harder. Okay, and I wouldn't recommend a over 20% stop loss on an option play. Does that make sense, Dion? Okay, so hopefully everyone understood that. All right, so let's go back and talk about, okay, with this game plan, right, and trading psychology, right, and how do they correlate together, right? So tomorrow's our last day, right? So tomorrow, what I want you all to do, okay. Oh, so Dion, you said, yeah, that makes sense. I got stopped out on the video right before I made the big move today. Yeah. So, you're gonna have a lot of guys in trading. You're gonna have so many fake outs that just based on fake outs, you want to quit. Okay. It's a sense of feeling that doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. I can be honest, and as brutal as it sounds, okay. Even I sometimes feel like quitting trading because I feel like, oh my god, I got faked out again, right? Getting faked out, let's say 10 times in a row, anyone will want to feel like, quitting, right? But after years and years of experience, right, you tend to tell yourself that, hey, just because I got faked out doesn't mean I have to quit, right? That just means that there's a lesson to be learned here, and you can start to be flexible and adjust your game planning skills with your mentality, right? Because if you have a strong mindset, right? I don't mean the generic, strong mindset like, oh, you're so strong-headed, and you don't let emotions get in your way. I'm not talking about that, right? If you're able to bounce back from losses or fake outs, right? I consider that a strong mental-headed person, right? Where you're able to tell yourself that, hey, that's nothing to be really, you don't have to feel bad about it, right? And you tell yourself that it's not something that you should be reeling back from. It's something that you should be actually trying to improve on, right? And look back into your trades and see why you're getting faked out. Which level were you looking at that made you fake out, right? That made you go out of the trade before a big run, right? Just like what you said, Dion, right? And try to see and try to understand instead of trying to quit. Does that make sense? Right? So I never ever want any of you guys to just quit, because you're losing your time that you spend on trying to learn, right? And it takes years, right? Months and years to get good at this, right? And so, with your mental game, right? After you enter into a trade, right? Don't think about getting in and out, in and out, in and out, all right? Or don't think about, should I get out here? Should I get out over there? Should I get out here, down here? It's not gonna matter, okay? Because if you have an actual game plan, a viable game plan that you've based off of the technical charts, okay? And remember, why do we have technical analysis? Because the charts tell you something, right? Or else how are you able to make a game plan? The charts are telling you something, right? It's giving you data, it's giving you information, right? It's giving you where the price has reacted, right? It's giving you where the price might go in the future, right? Based off the chart pattern that the price has made. You have all your data on the chart, okay? Technically, obviously, okay? Fundamental is completely different. So with the charts here, and this mental battle that everyone faces. Every single person. If you ever hear from someone that they don't have a mental battle with themselves in trading because they're like a god in trading, they're lying. Right? Everyone has emotions. No one trades like a robot. No one, unless you're an actual freaking robot. Okay? So, for example, SPY. Right? I know my Saver Swing Much members are in here right now. You guys saw my SPY trade, right? Okay. So, guess where I got in? I got in the discount stick, right? And guess where I got out? The very next candlestick. Right? I mean, look at this, right? Now you might be asking yourself, ooh, does Andrew feel regret? Of course I do. Who the hell would I feel regret holding this? Right? And yeah, I do have regret for not holding it. But guess what? I had a plan. I had a game plan. I had a nice game plan here. Right? I took half off as we were trying to retest this resistance level, right? And why did I take half off? Can someone tell me why I took half off? I entered in this candlestick, right? Below 421. Okay? Because I saw a nice kind of flagging type of action here. And I decided to take half off at the rejection here. Right? Because I want to see if I can risk my other half in the event that the price breaks above this resistance level. And guess what? It did. And I took everything off of here. Okay, once we start to burst above. Because I don't want to get risked. I don't want to risk myself getting caught up in this chop that we saw the past couple of days. And guess what? I was using the past data again. I was basing everything off of what the chart was telling me. Okay? And sure, I have regret. But guess what? I'm bouncing back on my mentality by telling myself that, well, I had a game plan, I executed, right? And I got out with profits. What more can you ask for? Yes, you can be greedy, right, Hassan? Like you said, you're always not taking profits and you're getting ready for a bigger move, but that probably ends up in losses, right? So a scalp like today, right? I'm not a scalper, right? I'm being honest here. I'm not a scalper, right? I'm a swing trader, okay? If I was an experienced scalper, sure, maybe I would have caught this whole move, right? But realistically speaking here, I didn't. I didn't, right? I mean, who else is gonna be telling that this like this, right? Like the brutal honesty here, right? I'm not gonna be telling myself that, oh, hey, next time I'm just gonna hold all the way through and just say screw it to my game plan. I'm not gonna do that. Why would I? Right? Because the only thing that matters for my mentality here, for the mental game, is that I followed through with my game plan. And with that, I'm finished with the psychology section tonight. Did that make sense, everyone? If that made sense, drop a like on this live stream video. Man, I should have you know what? I will. Actually, I will rename this live stream to a psychology training session here. Or training psychology. Chris, still a clean trader. Yeah. I'm exactly, right? Now, look at this, right? Some of you guys might be also wondering this, right? Hey, isn't Andrew being a little bit too optimistic, right? Why couldn't he just hold, right? Sure, yeah, you have regrets, but is he being a little bit too idealistic with his optimism? No. No, simply no. I know my optimism. I know when to have it. Why? How do I know when to have it? Because I followed through with my game plan. Right? This is not a game of ego. Okay? I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm such a great trader at scalping. Well, I'm not. Guys, I'm not a scalper. Right? I'm fine with saying that to people. I'm not a scalper. Okay? So, it's not a game of ego. It's not a game of me thinking too optimistically. I'm being optimistic because why? I stuck to my game plan. Does that make sense? Right? There is a right place for optimism, always. Did that make sense, guys? Okay. Hey, thank you guys for the likes. I see that you guys are enjoying today's live stream. Okay, so you know it's a very, very interesting game here that we're playing with ourselves when we're trading the stock market, because you have to have this kind of a good balance between pessimism and optimism, right? And none of that will matter until you have a game plan that you set up and you've actually followed through with it and execute, whether it be your entry, your exit, or your stop loss. Okay? Did that make sense, everyone? If that made sense, guys, keep on giving me that thumbs up on the live stream video if you haven't yet. Alright? So, with that, guys, trading psychology is a heavy topic. It's a field where a lot of different concepts and theories are entangled with each other. But here's the thing. The only thing that matters is your own mentality, right? Everyone has unique mental states, right? I can't tell you what your mental state is. How would I know that, right? So previous students in the past, when I had my 4 weeks program open, okay, the 4 weeks program is a 4 weeks program where I teach people from the basics to advanced in trading, guys. But when I had that program open, right now the program is closed. But when I had that program open, I had a lot of students asking me, "Hey, so can you tell me what my mental state is?" How's that possible? I can't do that, right? So, it's one of those things that I think people struggle with because they don't want to look into themselves. They don't want to think about how they think, what they're thinking about, because they're afraid to do it, right? Most people are very anxious to do it, to realize what mentality that they have when they're trading, right? And you know what I told my students in the past? I literally just told them this, right? Stop being so afraid and just look into yourself. Look in your inner self, right? And you might be thinking that, "Oh, Andrew, this is getting kind of spiritual here," right? Yeah, it's getting a little bit spiritual here. Yeah, I mean, you have to look at your inner self and realize what kind of person you are, right? Mental-wise, right? Are you patient? Are you impatient? Right? Are you greedy? Are you not greedy? Right? You gotta ask yourself these crucial questions before you start trading. Okay? Right? And you gotta ask yourself, are you happy when you trade? Are you stressed out when you trade? Are you extremely optimistic to the point where you feel like you have a lot of hubris, right? You have excessive ego, right? Ask yourself those questions. Okay? Even if you're afraid to, let's say you're really greedy, and you just didn't know that until you actually ask yourself, right? And you have that self-realization that you are really greedy, and that's what's leading to your losses. Does that make sense, guys? Right? So don't be afraid to really go deep into your thinking, and especially when you're looking and trading, right? Looking at the charts and trading, constantly ask yourself those questions, right? Instead of asking yourself, "Oh, should I get in here? Should I get out here? Or should I get up here?" Right? Or do I wait a little bit longer? Right? Instead of asking those questions, have a game plan set, execute that game plan, and ask yourself those questions, right? But obviously, you guys have to still keep up with your game plan. Okay? Stick with your game plan, all right? Okay, so that is the conclusion for trading psychology. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that little tiny it's kind of a pep talk, and it's kind of a lesson there as well. So hopefully you guys can carry on that mental kind of way of thinking tomorrow on your last day tomorrow trading. Dion, I'll look over SQ right now as well. So before I end here, guys, Okay, so SQ, if it loads, there we go. So Dion said you got SQ on my watch list for tomorrow for day trade. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, we just said that we broke out this descending level of resistance. You're right. And if you want more data here, let's take a look at the 2-hour time frame. My favorite time frame as usual, guys. You guys already know that. Yeah. Okay. So this is not too bad of a breakout. I would like to see increasing volume as we're breaking out this descending level of resistance, but we can Dion break above 106.50, which is my next level of resistance, or if you just want a simple level, just 107. Okay, but there is a lot of supply overhead, Dion, so I would be careful for any big slap downs. I mean, every single time the price try to go back up above the resistance right now on SQ, do you see how many times we've been slapped down? All right, every single time, right? Over here. So square or SQ has a tendency, well, it's block, it's called block now, but block here has this tendency just based off of the data that we're seeing here. Every single time we try to get back above a resistance or we retest the resistance, we come smacking back down. Okay, so that's my only cautionary risk that I would give to you there for you, Dion. But yeah, the trade could be there. The trade could be there, and you can take profits around 110.50 for a nice 3 or 4 reward there for let's say you risk $1 as well. Okay, so 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio, pretty good. Okay, very good there. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So just guys, the data is right here on the chart, right? So I see a lot of people struggling, but hey, right? A lot of people don't look at the data, right? And for me, the first thing that I noticed was what I just told Dion here on for SQ. It seems like every time we come back to a resistance, we get smacked down, right? And so that's the risk that you have to remember, that you have to carry on for tomorrow, right? So just continuous analysis and observance of the previous past data, right? It's not just price action, right? It's your actual data that you're looking at, right? Should give you a better trading edge as time goes on, as you get more experience as well of identifying price levels and looking at your previous history of data that you have. Okay, so you're welcome, Dion. You're welcome. And QCOM, yeah, QCOM had a big day today, if I remember. Yeah, so QCOM came up in my scanners here. Well, not my scanners, but I was actually going through semiconductors today, since I believe now, right, ServiceNow and QCOM both had earnings. Yeah, so so QCOM this made a big move. Hassan, you would be late to the party today. There would be a nice dip entry at 140, which it did, and that would be a great trade. However, when we had such big volume and big fall through days on earnings, it usually means that there could be another second day of a big upward move again. But here's the thing, we have to get past today's high today, but also guess what? Today's high of the day coincided and we retested the daily 50 SMA. And right now, the daily 200 and the daily 50 SMA, right? So if you guys don't remember, my daily 50 SMA is my dark blue line right here, and my daily 200 is my yellow line right here. Okay, so right now we had a nice death cross, right here. So this is a long-term indication that the price can go lower, okay, to the downside. So this is usually a bad bearish signal. However, based off of today's action, there could be a possibility that the price can actually continue to move to the upside. And do you guys see I'm always constantly looking for my risks here, right? I'm looking for opportunities, and at the same time I'm looking for what my risks are, right? In the near-term future, right? And that's what technical analysis is, right? You're basing off of the previous data, right? So Hassan, you said I did take 3 contracts at 140, sold 2, holding 1, risking some profit. Hey, there we go. Nice. That's a perfect entry, right? Because that's a previous level of resistance, right? If you just take a look right here, and a previous level of support right here, right? And a previous level of support over here as well, and resistance, right? So the data is there, right? All you have to do is look at it, right? So 140, yeah, that was a great entry. Congratulations on there. Congrats. And you sold 2 and you're holding 1, risking some profits. Completely fine. And that's even better because tomorrow, if we decide to break above the high today and actually have enough juice to push through the 50 SMA, which has been, guess what, acting as a level of resistance this entire time, right? You can see clearly that if we're able to break above 50 SMA and hold above it, there's a good chance that we can continue to the upside until we retest the 200 SMA, which is currently sitting at 154.50. Okay. 155 cost for $9. Nice. $9, not that bad. Very cheap. Oh, for $22. Perfect. That's a great return there. Amazing job. I assume that you got the weekly since the premiums are so cheap. But yeah, with Qualcomm, tomorrow, if you come back and retest 150, right? That's another great area to just take profits again, right? You're holding 1, right? There's no point in seeing whether or not the price is going to get back above 150.20ish here if it rejects, right? So I would just advise you to just take profits at 150.20ish if it decides to retest and reject. Okay, because you don't want to risk that one contract putting you at a loss and erasing the other 2 contracts that you sold today for profit. Does that make sense? Right? Because I'm assuming they're weeklies, right? They expire tomorrow, right? So there's a good chance that they can drop down to, well, no value, 0.01, right? No value at all to that contract. So it's risk-wise, right? It's honestly it'll be great if you can even get out at 150.20 if you decide to come back above it. Does that make sense? Yeah, well, it's not a lot of since you did take a nice day trade today from 140 to wherever you exited, right? So that holding 1 is not a lot. You're just risking some profits to gain even more, right? That's fine. That's completely fine, right? You've already taken majority of profits, so it's not a lot. So with that in mind, I would say, there is a heavy resistance. We have both the 50 and 200, and we rejected off of the 50, coinciding with the 150.20 level of resistance, right? So if you take profits in your one contract, be grateful, right? You already took majority of profits, right? With those 2 contracts, and now you're just holding a third, right? A third of your position, okay? Very small position, right? And your contracts are expiring tomorrow. So hey, you get what you get. All right, and you've already taken profits, okay, more than half, right, and you're only holding a third. So, yeah, great job. There you go, Hassan. Look at that. Okay, so hey, perfect trade there. Congrats. Right, so that's how you follow with your game plan. All right. So QCOM, yeah. So we just had to break above the 50 SMA and 150.20ish tomorrow. Okay, but if we decide to flag up here as well, completely fine with me. So if we make, because usually when we have a big earnings move like this, there tends to be another candlestick that ends up like this, and that's what we call an inside candlestick, right? Maybe whatever it might be, whatever wick it might have. Excuse my really bad drawing, but right. So we might get another smaller candlestick called the inside candlestick that is inside the price range that we made today, right? So if you have an inside candlestick, that's awesome because it's also indicating that we can have a continuation to the upside. But so far we are still respecting all the resistance levels so far. Okay, so that's that, right? And we have the major SMAs just acting as huge levels as well, resistances. All right, wow, we're hitting that 1 hour mark. You guys have stayed with me for an hour here. Congrats to you all for pulling through. Thank you all for joining, guys. But yeah, it's like I said, the trading psychology is very important. Having a game plan first initially is very important, and just executing, just executing on the game plan and being disciplined with the game plan is obviously a mental game within itself, right? But it can be so simple by just following your game plan, right? Follow your game plan. When the price hits your entry levels, your exit levels, your stop loss levels, respect it. That's it. That's it, guys. Okay. Wow, have you considered being an artist? Yeah. Of course, you're welcome, man. Yeah, so, hey, Hassan, fun fact, I actually did art competitions when I was little, and I believe I got first place, second place, and then I believe a honorary award or something like that. So yeah, I was actually a pretty good artist back when I was a child, and I think that really helped actually with my my technical analysis skills, because I picked up technical analysis within 2 to 2.5 weeks. Some people take months to get at it, but I for me it looked really easy because technical analysis is part art, right? There's an artistic side to it, and for me, I'm a visual learner as well, so I picked it on really rather quickly actually. So I just had that advantage there over others. But hey, practice makes perfect, right? So continue to work on your technical analysis skills. For all my CFS Ring Watch members watching tonight, if you guys have any questions on TA, on certain names, or if you just need simple help with your TA, DM me, ask me questions. I'm here to help. Okay, I'm always here to help. And as usual, guys, if you guys have anyone that you know that will benefit from whatever that I provide for you guys, right? The CFS Ring Watch newsletter, the Discord, the live streams. Make sure you guys are always sharing, right? I want to reach out to as many people as possible. Okay, so hey Dion, you're welcome. Thank you for the live tonight. Good information. Of course, man. I'm always here to provide as much value to you guys as possible. Hassan, so looking forward to learning more from you in the upcoming future. Thank you. Hey, I'm excited as well. I'm excited to give you guys more information and even more new information that I'm constantly learning from the markets. Guys, remember, the market is your real teacher, right? An individual person is never going to be your real teacher. The market will always forever be your teacher, and I will always be indebted to the market as a student. Okay, so that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you all for the kind comments. Thank you all for even jumping into this live tonight, right? From the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys. I appreciate you all for even joining, sticking with me throughout this entire hour and a little bit more with this live stream, guys. So guys, if you guys really think that these lives are really valuable, I highly suggest that you guys share it with other people, right? Even if it might be a friend that you know is not into trading. Why not? Just send them this live stream, and then they might be intrigued. Who knows, right? Unless people are exposed to what we're doing here as Charts Focus 1 or CFO here, we will never know if people will be actually intrigued or not, right? Or people will actually want to join us and be a part of what we're doing here, So, I always am looking for ways to always tell people about Charts Focus 1. Word of mouth is always important and very essential as well. So good luck trading tomorrow, guys. Okay, to all my members, I'll see you back in the Discord. Right, I have some things to post tonight, and good luck trading tomorrow for everyone. Right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night or morning. I know it's 12 a.m. for some of you guys. So make sure you guys get a good night's rest here and get a great sleep. Have some amazing dreams and be optimistic about tomorrow. There's always another day, right? Have a great rest of your night, everyone, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.